All right, thanks for joining me for this next video. We're looking at the first niyama, which is Saucha. Saucha, I've always known as purity. So let's read what Mukunda Styles says Saucha is as according to the sutras. From purity arises a desire to protect one's body and a cessation of adverse contact with others. It even says, from the purification of one's essence, cheerfulness arises, and with it, one-pointed concentration, mastery of the senses, and the capacity for sustaining the vision of the true self. I think you'll love what Deborah Adele says, because here we dive into Saucha being so much more than just keeping your body clean, but that's one of the ideas of purity, is keeping your body clean. So the jewel of Saucha carries a twofold meaning. First, Saucha invites us to purify our own bodies, inside and out. Not just that, but also physically and mentally. One of the things that I've been noticing in the Modern Yoga Teacher Mastermind group calls that we're doing is I like to be emphatic with my fuck words. I like to drop swear words, but I like them to be so strategically placed and so few and far between that there's like an impact to what I'm saying. And what happens is once I start to use that word or other swear words, I actually start to drop like a lot of swear words. So then I kind of sound like I'm saying the F-bomb like every other word. And then I notice it when I'm talking or sitting and listening to other people talk. I notice when my sister swears. I notice when my daughter, my youngest daughter, swears. Those are the two I notice that swear like a lot without even realizing. So purity isn't just of the body inside and out. So purity, we want to take care of ourselves. When you don't take care of yourselves, you don't care. You don't care about your body. And one thing that we know about yoga, a question to ask yourself, who am I? And the very first differentiation is to recognize that you're not your body. Okay, so then if you're not your body, then who are you, right? And we'll look at that. Really, who you are is the part of you that's aware right now. It's not the part of you that's talking, it's a part of you that's aware that's talking. It's a part of you that's aware of being aware. Okay, so if you aren't your body, then any of the things that happen in your body, you aren't either. So you're not your emotions, you're not your thoughts. You can't be them because you have them. Like you don't say, I am hand, you say my hand. That's because you're not your body and you already know it and you're speaking like it all the time, but then you misidentify if you have pain as your pain, and you can't actually be pain. Right? You have pain, so you can have pain, but you're not it. It's not you. So then who are you? So if you recognize, if you can come to that conclusion, which we can always dive, in yoga teacher training, that's when you really dive into that. Here you're getting concepts. Yoga teacher training is really like allowing those concepts to come to life, to embody those concepts, to really understand them. So when you recognize that you're not your body, but your body is your vehicle, then don't you want to take care of that vehicle? Because if you're always in pain, if you're broken, if you're sad, like if you're not taking care of yourself, then your quality of life goes down. So keep your body clean. This means, what are you ingesting? Like, what are you consuming? What are you consuming for food? What are you consuming mentally? What are you watching on TV? What are you reading? Who are you talking to? What are you consuming knowledge-wise? Here, purity asks us to really like look at what we're consuming and what are you buying when you go out? How much sugar are you eating? It's a really, really big deal. And then there's so many things as well, like eating right for your type, and like making sure you're on probiotic, like taking care of your probiotics by maybe having kombucha or something fermented, like really taking care of yourself. Purity is your cleansing process. And that means even cleansing yourself of relationships that are not helpful, that are more draining. Now, we're not talking about avoidance. You can also heal. These are really big deals. So breath practices and postures are also a way of purifying the body, as are meditating and following the ethical system that we talked about on the first limb of yoga. There's great energy that lies mostly dormant within each of us. And this is the energy of our consciousness or our awakening. Think about it like you've been filling your body full of trash. That could be even the way that you talk to yourself. And that your awareness, your consciousness, your awakening is underneath all of that shit. So we have to like clean it out before you can get to your true self, before you can get deeper into recognizing who you are, because you've been telling yourself that you suck for so long. How is that landing? Cleansing helps us to strengthen our bodies. It insulates our mind. It prepares us for the awakening of the energy within us. Because if you don't like yourself, if you don't like yourself, you don't like yourself, and then all of a sudden you're completely in love with yourself and you're amazing, can you see that like you're fighting that, or you would already believe it? Just sit with that for a moment. You're fighting how amazing you are by telling yourself that you suck all the time. So imagine that the flip switch, I mean, you could just feel it now, but after fighting it for so long, you probably wouldn't even know what to do with yourself if you were full of love. So a cleanse is different to each of us. This is why you want to connect to your body, because your body will start to give you cues, right? Increase physical exercise, yes. For probably almost all of us, yes. Some people exercise as an addiction. For you guys, no. You're good. Increase water intake. I bet you pretty much everybody needs to drink more water. A spiritual practice we've been taught is like 1 day per week to just fast, either water or juice. Throwing it out there. And then cleaning out your closets, cleaning up your energy leaks, cleaning up your follow list. I'm about to go on a 7-day unfollow cleanse. And it's really about like shifting the energy or the culture of my brand. And as scary as it seems, like, oh my gosh, it'll help me to get clearer and reach the people that I'm meant to talk to. Saucha or cleansing also looks like forgiveness, releasing emotions, confessing. It's about cleaning yourself up ethically and morally as well. I've got a little story. Yogi Bhajan's explanation of my name helped me to begin to understand the difference between purification and cleanliness. Recently back from India, I'm once again sorting through this difference. I spent almost 2 weeks in an ashram doing purification practices, but it took me 2 hours when I got home to be American clean. In this country, we almost obsess about cleanliness, but pay little attention to purity. Cleanliness is a process of scrubbing the outside of us, and it changes our outer appearance. Purification works on our insides, and it changes our very essence. Although cleanliness is important, Saucha calls us to the inward journey of purification, not the outward experience of cleanliness. Saucha also looks at like what your expectations are of other people, even expectations that you're not speaking to. This happens all the time when I'm coaching people. They come with these resentments that they've been holding on to for a very long time. And those resentments are based off of expectations of other people, yet never communicating them to them. expecting that other people should read your mind and know how to behave. Do you know how many times I've heard that? They should just have the decency. What they're doing is totally disrespectful to me. And then, but not ever saying those things to those people. How are they supposed to know? Disrespectful means something different to everybody. So if I think you're being disrespectful, you might not in any way, yet you might think I'm being disrespectful by talking to you about being disrespectful. We need to communicate. What does that word mean to you? I'll say that. Like if someone says, you're yelling, I mean, I can say, no, I'm not. But I could also say, what does that mean to you? What does that mean, yelling? To me, yelling means like screaming, like I'm saying, I'm so loud, I'm at the top of my lungs. Whereas for some people, yelling is raising their voice. So be honest with how many expectations and illusions you impose on not only yourself, but everybody else. Clean those up. That's purity. Purity is also gathering up the scattered pieces of ourselves. There's a story and it's called fragmentation. Okay. It's about an idea that like you're a baby and you're born whole. You're amazing. Everything's incredible. And then something happens in which you like your true self is perfect, right? In yoga, in non-dualistic yoga, you are God and that's your true self. You're a part of consciousness, you're a drop from the ocean. So at one point in your life, when something happens and you now believe yourself to not be good enough, you shatter into pieces. And those pieces, all they want is to be whole again. That's all they want. And the universe is constantly sending you situations, lessons, opportunities to recognize that you are fragmented and you have been misled into believing that you're not good enough. And that's in the form of us being triggered by people, us being upset with people, us being in situations we don't like, us being uncomfortable. Those are possible lessons for you to realize that you're amazing. Yet us in our human stories, in our fragmented, scattered stories, just think that people are here to piss us off or that nobody can do anything right. So the opportunity to become whole once again is lost every time we get upset with somebody else. Example, I don't know, it's a wound. Your core wounds carry with you the whole time. So let's just say you're a little kid, your dad doesn't love you the way that like you think your dad doesn't love you. So then you start to do things to get his attention. Okay, you grow up, you have a father wound, right? You continue on in your life. This could be mother wound, anything. This applies to anything. You continue on in your life, and now you're attracted to unemotional men or unemotionally available men or unemotional. And when you know you're guarded and you're protected, you don't let anyone in, and then finally you meet someone and you let them in and they do the exact same thing to you, because it's like the only one that you would let in is the same one that's going to hurt you with the same wound that you had when you were 3 years old. That's a gift. That is taking you back to the moment when you fragmented. That's taking you back to the time that you thought you weren't good enough for male attention and then have been seeking it your entire life. If you would just stop seeking it and recognize that you're perfect just the way you are, you would go back to being whole. But we don't. We take it personally and then we get closed off again to the opposite sex or whatever the story is there, and this repeats and repeats. So Saucha is really about picking up the pieces of yourself and stop blaming other people, like purity and cleansing and recognizing that every situation is an opportunity to grow or contract. So homework for this week. I'm going to read a little poem. I enter fully into each experience and I come out fully from each of them too. I put the whole of me into all I do and out of all I do. This week, notice where your body is sluggish, and then start to purify yourself through diet and exercise. Notice how the sluggishness becomes lighter as you purify, and notice the difference between the external process of cleansing and the internal process of purifying. This also means like taking care of your body too. It's not just like don't take care of your body. The one thing that happens is once you get the inside right, the outside falls into place anyways. So work on purity. And then your own bodies need to protect you with layers between your soul and the outer world will no longer need to protect you, and you'll start to drop fat like immediately because you were healed. And your body is just doing what it thinks it's supposed to do for you because the mind told it that. So that's where I'm going to end today. Thank you so much for coming on and listening, and I will see you in the next video.